Hello, and welcome to this episode of Coach Caris, Itchy, Bitchy, and guests. I hope you are well. Whatever day it is you're listening to this, I hope you're having a lovely day. Today I'm going to speak about, I'm still going to speak about alcohol, right? And it's a kind of follow up from my live pod event that I did with Ailsa Christie, where she shared her 7-year sober story. And with hindsight, she actually didn't share her 7-year sober story. She shared the decisions behind why she got sober and probably the first year of being sober. So I'm now thinking actually that I need to get her at least back on here, either do another event or get her back on here, because I feel that it would be very interesting to hear how it's gone since she gave up alcohol. So if you haven't listened to the live podcast yet, it is on Spotify, so please do have a listen. You know you can get a hold of me on the socials and I can send you the link. It's episode 89 on Spotify and it's under Coach Caris, Itchy Bitchy and Guest Spotify. You can get a hold of me on Facebook and Instagram and I'm under Coach Caris on both of those things because I want to make it as easy as possible for you. And I'm also I have a YouTube channel called Coach Caris, which is the video of the recording of the podcast. So if you want to see me and Ailsa, our smiley faces while we are chatting, then just have a wee look, right? But we focused a lot on the decision that Ailsa made to give up drinking, why she gave that up, why she made that decision. And she said herself over the first year there were 6 occasions, even though she'd made the decision to give up, there was 6 occasions that she actually had a drink. And 3 of those occasions she was okay, 3 of those occasions not so much. And it's we spoke a lot about the Russian roulette feeling, and this is the same for a lot of us, this has been the same for me as well, that sometimes you can have a drink and you're okay, and sometimes you can have a drink and you're not okay, and it is the Russian roulette. And moderation to Ailsa feels it's a lot more hard work than abstinence. That was a lot of the things that came out of it. But we also spoke a lot about how her friends, how her social circle, how her family, how her children reacted to her making that decision. So we focused a lot on the 2 years before she made the decision, because we spoke about the 6 stages of change and the pre-contemplative stage, and how the first year went. And I just think it would be really interesting to find out and speak to Ailsa again about the last 6 years, really. And do you know, a very good point that she made as well is that when she made that decision to not drink, it wasn't about what she was going to lose. It was never about what she was going to lose. It was always about what she was going to gain and what she has gained. And she's gained like way more than she ever thought, but also way more than we all think. Like it's very easy to focus on, and this is what will destroy your goals, by the way. It's very easy to focus on what we can't have anymore. Whereas changing your thought process into choices, as in we always have a choice, will make it easier to see the positive. So it's not what you're giving up, it's not what you're losing, because like, what was she losing? Quality of life for a start. Yet she's gained all this freedom, this confidence. Yeah, we need to get her back on. Definitely. Anyway, the whole point of that podcast and me and Ailsa deciding to chat together was that I've obviously been questioning my relationship with alcohol. Like, you're lucky if I have a drink 3 or 4 times a year, but it is the Russian roulette. I can have 2 pints one night and I'm absolutely fine, and then another night I can have 2 pints and I'm just turned into an absolute vomit comet and I'm absolutely like disproportionately rough. So yeah, but I wanted to speak a bit about the science. So we did have a couple of questions. Excuse me, I've got a tickly throat. In fact, we had loads of questions. I actually had to cut the podcast at 90 minutes. So it started at 2, it finished at 4. We started chatting at about 20 past 2 and I put the recorder on and the audience were involved, and the audience were that interactive that the questions that we had went on for way more than half an hour. So at 10 to 4, I actually had to say to Ailsa, we need to end this now or we're going to run over our time just for the venue and stuff. So it would actually be really good to get her back on. But the whole day was amazing, the interaction for the audience. And it just goes to show you as well that there's so many of us out there, midlife women especially, we're just questioning our attitude towards alcohol and whether we actually want it and whether it actually enhances our lives. And while Ailsa, like I said before, Ailsa's decided that moderation is too difficult for her. It takes up too much brain space. So abstinence is just the way to go. Whereas I'm leaning more towards, I don't actually drink that often. So I might like to still have the odd glass of Prosecco or the odd pint of ale when I'm out. So anyway, I think it's going to be an ongoing process. But so we did get a question. I got a couple of questions online and a couple of women just messaging me, tell me what their thoughts are and stuff. So one of them was, my hangovers have gotten much worse as I've gotten older. Even a couple of drinks can leave me vomiting the next day. I swear, it's like I wrote this. Drained of energy and having anxiety. Is this normal? I rarely have alcohol now, but when I do, I'm ill. So I'm not going to say it's normal because we're all different and we have all reacted differently. But the more women that I speak to, the more I hear that their tolerance levels are dropping and that their hangovers, so they're drinking less, but their hangovers are getting worse. So it's usually down to hormones, all right? It's down to like the dip in estrogen and testosterone and stuff, right? But obviously when we're in the peri-menopause or the menopause or midlife in general, right, our hormones actually start to drop from the age of about 30. So our estrogen fluctuates, our progesterone fluctuates as well. That's the two main feminine hormones. Obviously we have testosterone as well, but not so much with the alcohol. So we have, because these hormones fluctuate, we have a whole load of symptoms anyway that can come, right? So things like hot flushes, night sweats, our sleep can be disturbed. We've got mood swings, cravings, irritability, right? And alcohol makes all of those things worse. So our body processes alcohol different. It stays in our system for longer, which is why the hangovers feel worse as well. So it's, a lot of people say, do you know, the way our liver, right? So your liver processes everything that comes into your body and it sends the waste products out and stuff like that and breaks it down. So our liver processes things differently anyway as we get older, as we lose estrogen and our progesterone goes up and down, all right? So drinking alcohol can worsen all of your midlife symptoms, right? Drinking alcohol increases your body temperature. When we have hot flushes, it increases your body temperature. So putting those two things together makes your hot flushes, your hot flashes, your night sweats, it makes them worse. The sleep-wise, a lot of women will say to me, I did have a conversation actually on Saturday with one of the ladies that came along as well, that she has a drink to make her fall asleep, right? And while it might make you fall asleep, as in it knocks you out, right? It still disrupts your sleep. It destroys your deep sleep, so your REM sleep. It absolutely destroys that, which is why you might fall asleep easier, but you'll wake up at 3 a.m, all right? You'll wake up wired. You'll feel that you've maybe got heart palpitations. You'll feel sweaty. Your mind will be racing. You'll be thinking about that one bitchy comment that you said to a random person in 2003. Right, it's not good. And when we wake up the next morning without sleep or with an agitated sleep, it makes the anxiety worse, it makes the self-doubt worse, it makes us eat shit. We just crave sugary foods, we crave sweet treats, and then that's just a vicious circle. So the next night, because we never slept that night, we do the same again. We have a glass of wine, and it just, do you know, it's like, see, within 3 to 5 days, you will feel a difference. You will absolutely feel a difference. Now, I've said before, right, that I still drink. I haven't had a drink since the 23rd of November, but I do still drink, right? But I'll never drink in the house. Me and Cal, we just don't sit. We don't sit and have a beer. I think we've maybe done it 2 or 3 times since we've been in this house, which is like 11 years. And it's been in a summer and we've lit the fire pit and had a barbecue and had a couple of beers. But again, when I was speaking to more women, it's quite common and it's quite a habit. And I have done this in the past. Friday night, open the bottle of wine, have a glass of wine on the Friday night, and then if you finish the bottle, you just go and get another bottle for the Saturday night, right? Whereas if you think about the reverse of that, right, Saturdays and Sundays, so like Friday nights and Saturday nights are quite often the only nights. It's the end of the week, but it's quite often the only nights that we don't have anything on. We're not ferrying kids. We're not always out partying. Do you know, it can be nice to just have a bath, put your jammies on, put the fire on if you've got a fire, put the heating on, put the telly on. Do you know what I mean? Sit and maybe have a takeaway. And it's like two nights of the week that you have the opportunity to go to your bed at a decent time and get an absolutely amazing night's sleep so that you can spend the Saturday and the Sunday doing family things or doing things for you. There's less constraints. We have more freedom and more flexibility. But quite often we ruin that because all we're thinking about is that glass of wine on the Friday night or that bottle of wine on the Saturday night, which is going to disrupt your sleep. It's not going to make you get up in the morning feeling awesome. It's not going to make you want to get out in the fresh air and go for a walk or do different things. And this is like the 2 days of the week that you have an opportunity to do different things. You have an opportunity to break the mundaneness of the week, right? The Monday to Friday, when everybody wants a party, you need to be at this place at this time because of work, your constraints, you get up early to go to the gym, you've got the kids to ferry about, you've got parents to look after. Saturday and Sunday potentially has it's the 2 days that you can have a break from all of that and you can actually look after yourself and nurture yourself. And we don't do that because all we're thinking about is that glass of wine at 6 o'clock on the Friday night or that bottle of wine at 7 o'clock on the Saturday night. Do you know, it's a shame. It is a shame. Alcohol is also inflammatory. So if you're midlife and you have joint aches, if you've got joint pains, if you feel that your stomach's always bloated, if you feel that your face is always puffy, guess what? Alcohol's not going to take that away. All it's going to do is enhance that. It's going to give your joints more aches. It's going to make everything hurt. It's going to make you feel more puffy. It's going to make you feel more bloated. It's going to slow down any recovery from training. So that's going to add to your joint soreness. You're going to have muscle soreness as well. And it's going to cause digestive issues, which causes bloating as well. All right. So it's not, I'm not speaking about the odd party night like two times a year. And if you want to suck that up and take the hit, that's fine. But I'm speaking about consistently drinking alcohol. Like I said, your liver, it changes. So when our body feels attacked or under pressure, right, with midlife stress, poor sleep and underfueling, all right, it also, that hinders the productiveness of your liver. And again, it's going to struggle to deal with normal things. It's going to struggle to deal with your body on a normal day while it's fighting all your midlife symptoms. And then you chuck alcohol into the mix as well. Of course it's going to struggle. So that's why the alcohol stays in your body for longer, and that's why the hangovers seem worse, because you're not giving your liver the best opportunity to process all that alcohol and get it out your body. Blood sugar, we all know what alcohol does to blood sugar. This is what wakes us up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It makes your blood sugar dip in the middle of the night, and then you wake up, and then when you wake up, obviously you potentially have a mild panic attack, the heart starts racing, the anxiety happens. You wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then that gives you the broken sleep, and then next day you've got the cravings and stuff. That's your blood sugar. And again, in midlife, we're trying to keep our blood, you'll never keep your blood sugar stable, obviously, right? It's there for a reason. Do you know what I mean? When we're hungry, it drops, and when we eat, it's fine. And it's about creating that stableness as much as we can. It's about trying to take away the peaks and troughs of like our hormones and our blood sugar and our food intake. We want to kind of keep everything like nice and steady, and then it just takes out these peaks and troughs. It takes out the mood swings. It takes out the anxiety. The next day cravings as well. Do you know, that's when you want Haribo for breakfast or sugary cereal for breakfast, and then you're away to Greg's for some white carbs, for a rolling sausage, and then you're having crisps with your lunch, and then you need a chocolate bar as well to counterbalance the savouriness of the crisps. It's just brutal, and it's a vicious circle. So the hangover as well, all right, you'll be dehydrated because we've been drinking alcohol. right? But we've also got inflammation, we've also got poor sleep, we've also got the blood sugar crash, and we've also got the cortisol spike, which is your fight or flight hormone, and that's what causes the anxiety and the stress as well. It's basically your whole body, your whole nervous system is struggling anyway because of midlife. You're trying to compete with all the symptoms, you're trying to not be anxious, you're trying to get your confidence back, you're trying to get your self-belief back, and then you go and whack alcohol on top of that, because for that 5 minutes and that first sip, you think that that's going to calm you down, and it will calm you down for like that one glass, and then after that, all it's going to do is just make all your symptoms worse. It's just going to highlight every single symptom that you've got and make it more symptom-like. It's true, man. Honestly. Right, we've got anxiety. Hangxiety. Who gets hangxiety? Absolutely. All right. So alcohol increases anxiety the next day, right? So what it does is alcohol borrows your calmness from the next day. So in fact, it doesn't borrow it because it doesn't give you it back. It steals your calmness from the next day, and it calms you down when you take that first sip, right? Now, I said on the podcast, when you take that first sip, right? So you've got the bottle of wine out the fridge, all right? You've got your nice glass, you've opened the bottle, you've poured it into the glass, you've taken it through the living room, you're on the sofa, right? And you have that first sip and you instantly feel yourself. It's that big sigh of relief. And then you'll be like, that's better, right? Whereas in fact, that first sip hasn't gone anywhere. It's still probably in your throat. It's still in your gullet or whatever it is, right? And it's still tootling down to your stomach, right? If it is in your stomach within the first 10 seconds, right, it hasn't done anything at all. It's the anticipation. And this is where habits come from, right? So our brains are amazingly clever. And they don't just remember, it's anticipation, right? They don't just remember that first sip. They remember everything that comes with that first sip. So they could transport you back to 12 o'clock on a Friday afternoon when all you're thinking about is sitting on that sofa with that glass of wine. All you're thinking about is getting rid of all the dickheads at your work, skipping out your work, going to the supermarket, buying the wine, getting back in your car, maybe buying a Marks and Spencer's meal for two or whatever, right? It's the anticipation. It remembers you doing this. It remembers you getting back into the car. It remembers you putting tunes on in the car. It remembers you getting home. You come home, you unpack your shopping bags, you put the wine in the fridge with the anticipation. You go away, you have a shower. You put your clean pajamas on, you come back down the stairs, you maybe put dinner in the oven at this point, you go to the fridge, you get the wine bottle out, you cork it or unscrew it, right? It's that little clicky noise of that, or the cork popping, or the unclicky noise of the bottle. You've got your wine glass sitting, it's the glug, glug, glug as you pour it. You're then walking down the hall in your pajamas and your comfy slippers, the heating's on, it's lovely and cosy. You've got a date with Netflix or your favourite programme. You sit down on the sofa, you put the television on, you instantly can start to feel yourself chilling. You take that first sip. It's the anticipation. It's not, that alcohol has done nothing. So if you can wait 20 minutes, right? Ailsa spent a lot of time speaking about macaroni. She would just come home and have a macaroni and then decide if she was going to have a drink. And chances are it was a no, because she'd given herself 20 minutes just to think about what she actually wanted in that moment. And also about thinking it forward. So thinking about, I speak about this quite a lot actually, the film Sliding Doors. If you've seen it, a lot of you that listen to me are my age, so you will have seen it. Right now, I watched that film, I don't even think I was 20 when I watched that film, and I find the whole concept of it fascinating. So that if I could video you on the Saturday and the Sunday when you hadn't had that drink on the Friday night, so you'd came home on the Friday night and you'd acknowledge the fact that you did fancy a glass of wine, and but you were going to give yourself 20 minutes or half an hour, so you were going to have something to eat, and then you were going to decide right in that moment in time whether you still wanted an alcoholic drink, but you were going to think about what your weekend would look like without that drink. So you would get up on the Saturday morning, you would feel refreshed, you would go away to your gym class, you would get that done, you would then have the rest of the day to spend with your friends, your family, you would maybe go out for lunch, or you would go out for dinner, you would do nice things, you would go to the park, you would take the bairns somewhere. Or what your life would look like if you actually had that glass of wine, because you'd had a shit day at work. You knew it wasn't going to be a glass of wine, it was going to be a bottle of wine, maybe a second bottle of wine you were going to open. Then you were going to have the munchies, so you were going to eat shit. Then you were going to fall into your bed at midnight. You're going to wake up on Saturday morning feeling absolutely hungover to fuck, and you're just going to lie on the sofa while the bairns are running about doing nothing. Do you know? And then later on the Saturday, when you can eventually eat because you've maybe stopped spewing, you're going to have just a takeaway, or you're going to have some crisps and dip or some chocolate. You're going to order that takeaway anyway, and then before you know it, you've lost a day. So it's about sliding doors. So have a think about it. Try and delay that instant gratification, because that instant gratification actually isn't instant gratification. It's just anticipation. So it steals our calmness from the next day. It affects our GABA, which is our calming neurotransmitters. Now, I can't actually remember what GABA, G-A-B-A, what GABA stands for. Oh, there it is there. Right, it is gamma aminobutyric acid, right? It's your brain's main calming neurotransmitter. So yeah, I absolutely had to chat GPT that because I couldn't remember what it means. Right, so your nervous system, so it's the chemical in your brain that tells your body and your nervous system to slow down, just to relax and to keep you safe, all right? So it helps with you feeling calm. It switches off your racing thoughts. It lowers your stress response, so it takes away that fight or flight thing. It relaxes your muscles. It helps you fall asleep. And it reduces your anxiety. Right, so when you have a drink of alcohol, right, it temporarily, I want you to remember that, temporarily boosts your GABA activity, which is why it can feel like the minute you take that sip of wine, you've got instant relaxation, right? You can just hear yourself saying, yep, I needed that. So it calms your brain down, it stops you overthinking, and it gives you more confidence and less social anxiety, right? And we'll all agree that we've had a drink for that, yeah? So our brain then tries to balance it out, right? So whatever our brain does, whatever our body does, it always tries to counterbalance that, right? But it usually counterbalances it a bit too much. So it goes back to this homeostasis, this keeping everything in a nice straight line and nice and like plateaued. We want to take out the peaks and troughs. So after alcohol, so alcohol boosts your GABA hormone, all right, and then your brain, it does the rebound effect. So because it's done that, because it's boosted this GABA, right, it then drops it. So your stress chemicals, like your cortisol, they actually rise, and then your nervous system goes into alert mode. This is why the next day you will feel anxious, you can feel edgy, you can feel tearful and panicky, right? You've got that whole emotional hangover, your heart racing, you feel that you can't actually settle. And also you have either the fear, I like to call it the fear, which is effectively regret or shame, right? Those all spiral. Even if you know that nothing bad happened, right? And a lot of the reason that our relationship with alcohol changes in midlife is because our nervous system is already more sensitive. We're already struggling with anxiety and self-doubt, right? Our sleep is already lighter, or it's already more broken. Our cortisol is already higher. And our progesterone, which actually gives us calming effects, right, it's dropped because it's like all over the place. So we're dealing with that as it is, and then we're just going to whack alcohol on top of that as well. I mean, it's actually horrific. But for the person that asked me about the science bit, and so yes, it is a thing. It absolutely is a thing, right? So there's anxiety. It's just, yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know a lot about this. I was planning on speaking about this on the live podcast, but we just got so inveigled in Ailsa's story. She was just so relatable, and I think she's just a normal person. Do you know? And obviously the audience were very participative. My, that was a big word. They participated lots. And we had loads of questions as well. So, well, I'm definitely, just hang fire. I'm definitely going to get Ailsa back on. I haven't even asked her, but I'm sure she'll be fine. She likes to chat. Definitely going to get her back on, and we'll speak about like the last 6 years that she hasn't had a drink, and what the things are that she's gained. Because like I said at the beginning, it was never about what she was going to lose. It was all about what she's gained with alcohol. Yeah, so that is pretty much the science bit of it. One of my other, I had another comment as well just about alcohol. So, and again, this is quite common. I do drink, but very, very little these days. I still enjoy a glass or two of wine, beer, cider, cocktail on occasion. And I think this is where I'm at the moment. I like a pint, or I like a glass of wine, or I like a prosecco or a cava when I'm on holiday. She did her overconsumption as a student. Hilarious. She really, really dislikes the culture if it's only a good night if you get steaming. We had a chat about that as well, about the British culture of take a drink. If any of you have watched, oh yeah, I can't remember the name of the programme now, with the two guys, Greg Hemphill and the other Manny. I can't remember the name. Anyway, you know the exact programme that I mean. It's always about take a drink and all that, and it's shit. Do you know? And it's like, but when people force their opinion on you, and when people are saying to you, just have a drink, it's their issues. They think that it's their responsibility for everybody to have a good night, and you're only going to do that if you have a drink. Or they think that, that they know themselves that they maybe need to question their own alcohol intake, and you standing there in front of them with your Diet Cola is like you're forcing them to look in the mirror, and they don't want that, so they just want you to get steaming to ease their own guilt. So don't give in to that. Also, sorry, sometimes feel rubbish day after, sometimes feel rubbish the next day after only one glass of wine. Other times are fine. This is exactly what I was speaking. It's the Russian roulette thing. It's just like, ugh. And also, you shouldn't have to be driving for others to accept the fact that you're having a soft drink. I totally agree. I have no issue not drinking, I must admit, on social events. I have no issue telling people to fuck off if they try to get me to ram an alcoholic drink down my throat. All right, but I understand for some people that's not, it's not easy, and the easier thing to do is just to go along with it and just to have a drink. So I just want you to get your lady balls out and just be you. And if being you on that night is not having an alcoholic drink and it's having a Diet Cola or a soda water and a lime, then that's fine. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So anyway, this was some chat about alcohol and the science of it, and why it does affect you. And yes, if your reaction to alcohol is different and your hangovers are worse now and disproportionately worse for the amount that you are drinking, then yes, it is. It can happen. It doesn't happen to anybody, but it doesn't happen to everybody, but it can happen. It is due to your hormones. And if you're in the position that you are questioning your drinking or rethinking your midlife drinking, like I said, reach out. My inbox is always open. I am on the socials, Instagram and Facebook as Coach Caris. This is Coach Caris Podcast, Itchy Bitchy and Guests. And you can see my face and Ailsa's episode 89. On YouTube, where the live recording is up. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I'll speak to you all very, very soon. Bye-bye.